Hi, and welcome to the My Dog Made Me Do It Naturally podcast. I am your host, Kat Jepson, a canine nutritionist with an innate obsession with dogs and the natural ways in which we are driven to live because of them. So, let's get to it. Hi, and welcome to another episode of the My Dog Made Me Do It Naturally podcast. I am your host, Kat Jepson, and tonight I am joined by the lovely Helena from Poochie Park and Poochie Pantry. Hi, Helena.
Hi.
Hi. So Helena is the loving mum of Luna and Autumn, her two fur babies, and she is also the proud owner of the Poochie Park, which is an enclosed dog field, and also the Poochie Pantry, which is an online raw dog food shop, isn't it? That's right, yeah?
It is, yeah. We have got a bricks and mortar shop as well, but that's by appointment only.
Ah, yeah. So if you are local, and where are you based?
Well, Sherburn in Elmer, but literally on the outskirts of Sherburn.
So if you are local to that area, then definitely do check out Helena's shop and go down and see her by appointment, don't forget. But anyway, so just to kick us off, Helena, why don't you first start by telling us a little bit about you and Luna and Autumn?
Okay, so we've got two dogs, both rescues. Luna we found by the side of the road in 2015, and she kind of stayed with us from there. She's tiny. She only weighs 5 kilos. She's really small. And then Autumn we rescued from Woodhaven during COVID. She was dumped in Bishopswood and they took her in, and that's how we got her. We just saw her on one of these posts and we just kind of put an application in for her.
Oh,
So that's the two girls.
oh, so did you have dogs before those two?
Yeah, I've had dogs since I was 16.
Oh yeah, they're great, aren't they? So how can we not have any?
I tried. I think I lasted 3 months, but I've always had border collies prior
Oh,
to.
did you?
Yeah, I've had 5 border collies.
Ah, so what made you change then, or was it the fact that you were just going to rescue instead?
No, we had a German Shepherd in between as well. And then from the German Shepherd, then we got Luna and then Autumn.
Ah, I see. But obviously Luna was sort of like opportunistic because she was at the side of the road. So
She was so tiny. She had a little bit of string around her neck, and the dog warden suspected she'd escaped from somewhere. Nobody claimed her. So, yeah, she's ours.
It's such a beautiful story though. Like to find a dog at the side of the road and take it home is like a dream for me. You know what I mean? Like you just don't find dogs at the side of the road anymore, not really. Or so whenever I hear if anyone's found one at the side, I'm like, where? I need to go and get one.
She was really smelly and really small, and it was the day we actually bought this house. So I was rushing to get the keys to the house, and I had to stop because she was so tiny.
Oh, that's fate. It's absolute fate, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. So, what does your natural journey look like then? So, when did you start with raw feeding? Is it raw feeding that you do? What does that look like?
So it started with the German Shepherd, actually. We had a German Shepherd puppy who had the most horrendous stomach ever.
Oh.
And that was where my journey started with her. Started raw feeding, just one brand. Didn't know what I was doing really. Just literally putting it in a tub and feeding her with it.
And that's how it started. And now, what does your journey look like now compared to?
Still pretty much the same. I just know now I know what they should be having.
Yeah.
I do occasionally do DIY, but I just don't have the inclination. But they do get a variety of brands. They get loads and loads of different proteins, and they do get raw meaty bones as treats. They get oily fish. They get eggs. They get bone broth. So yes, I have evolved. The more I've become educated, prior to all those years ago, just chucking some mince into a bowl.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is the thing, isn't it? I think you start off on the journey and then you get sort of like curious about it and you think, well, what else can I be doing? But thing is as well, you haven't always got to make it complicated, have you? Like you literally can just buy the different brands and put them in the bowl with a few added extras if you want, and that's completely fine. Like if that works for you, then there's no reason to say that, well, don't do it. I think the main thing is that you get the fresh in the bowl at the end of the day, and that's what we do. So Yeah. So what tell us about your shop. What kind of sparked off the idea for the Poochie Pantry?
Oh, crikey. So we had the dog, well, we started the dog park and we had one freezer. I swear to God, Poochie Pantry started with one freezer and we stocked Paleo Ridge, and that was it. And we just thought it would be nice to go alongside the park, if people wanted to get a bit of food. And it kind of just spiraled from there because you can never have one freezer.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've got 31 now.
You've got 31 freezers?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you even fit them all in? 31.
Oh, we keep taking walls down. You wouldn't recognise it. We've taken more walls down since you last came.
Really? Wow. I'm gonna have to come and see what it looks like.
Yeah,
So how many brands have you got then of raw food?
I think we've got about 16 or 17. I keep changing because if one is not selling as well, we'll just get rid of it and replace it with something different, because there's new brands coming onto the market all the time and we like to try something new. We've got a new brand coming in this week actually. So I like to evolve with them, but then all of a sudden one will just stop selling and I can't have a freezer and not paying its way kind of thing. So it'll go.
No, but I think that's really good because it'll keep your customers interested as well, won't it? Because you do get people who like to buy the same things all the time, but as obviously being an advocate for fresh food and trying to increase variety with customers, it kind of like pushes them into that, oh, I'll try this one. Because even if it's the same flavor, it's not necessarily from the same geographical area. So it could still be a variation within the same protein, can't it?
It can, and then the other thing you've got is they use different cuts of meat. You've got the cheaper cuts of meat, the more, it depends which cuts they're using and also which offal they're putting in, because some companies don't do a ratio. They just put all one offal in there, a lot of liver heavy ones. And then you've got some producers class heart as offal, which is full meat. So there's a lot of variation, and by feeding all the different brands, you're getting the best of all the different worlds, really.
Yeah.
And also when somebody comes in, you've got all the bones and chunks freezer as well. And I'd even add in bones every now and again to a bowl, and then just feeding boneless either side, makes a change.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff in there. I think, what do you find the most enjoyable about having the raw shop?
When somebody wants to come in and change what they're feeding.
Oh yeah. So you get to actually help them switch over from the from the processed to the non-processed.
Yeah, and even if somebody comes in and they won't leave kibble, even I call it pimping the bowl, even adding some fresh to that bowl is going to benefit the dog. Anything that can kind of balance out all the dry. I mean, there's always going to be, is it mycotoxins and alpha toxins within the kibble? And if whatever fresh you can add will help balance those out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. So is advice something that you offer to your customers then?
It is, yes. And I don't charge. If somebody wants my support transitioning over, they've just got to make an appointment so I can spend some time talking to them.
Yeah, and that can be in person or on the phone.
It can be, yeah.
Okay, that's really great, because I think there are a lot of people who are kind of scared to kind of make the leap out the end. They probably just, want to order some food but might not really know how to feed it. So that's a really great thing that you're doing. So what do you have any other services that you offer from within the Poochie Pantry?
Well, apart from the nutrition, I also do Zoopharmacognosy.
Oh, yeah. So tell us a little bit more about that then.
So I came across my tutor, who's Caroline Ingram, when I was studying my K9 diploma in nutrition.
Yeah.
And I thought everything clicked into place. When we rescued Autumn, she only weighed 8 kilos, and she literally ate dandelions till they were coming out of her ears. Never thought anything of it. We just thought she liked dandelions. And then it turns out that maybe she was healing herself.
Yeah.
Because once her tummy healed and she put weight on, she's never eaten another dandelion since.
Really? So not
Nope.
even now, she'll never eat any?
if I put one on her bowl, she would eat it, but she wouldn't go out and actually actively seek dandelions. So basically, zoopharmacognosy is all animals have the innate ability to heal themselves if they have access to. So in the wild, they would self-serve themselves, but
Yeah.
because we have captive animals, we have pets, we have to give them we have to present them with the nutrients, with the oils that can actually heal themselves. And it's done by, if there's something wrong with the dog, it kind of changes their taste and their
Yeah.
sense of smell, and it
Right.
makes things that will heal them more appealing.
Right. Okay.
As soon as they've healed that part, the sense of taste will revert back to normal, and then they don't find it appealing anymore.
Wow, that's fascinating, isn't it?
It is. So I'm not a huge fan of putting loads and loads of nutrients in the bowl.
Yeah.
I like to see them on the side, and if the dog wants them, they can take them.
So how, for people listening at home who this is completely a new topic for them, how
Yeah.
does it work basically? Like, does it only work for dogs that are sick, or can you use it in general day to day, or what kind of, would there be a reason that
Well,
you'd
you
seek
don't
it out?
know. Yeah, you don't know if the dog is sick though. So when I do a session, we
Yeah.
put lots of things down, because as you know, behavior can be affected by if there's something not quite right with the dog. The dog can't tell us. It may be just that they've got a bit of tummy ache, and they'll guide the session, whether they go for gut oils, whether they go for liver, whether they just need, as you know, anything on the skin can come from the gut as well. So quite often a lot of the animals choose gut oils.
Yeah. So would you obviously meet with the owner and the pet, and then would you just present them with loads of different oils, and then just see if the dog is sort of like, I want to say attracted to, but is that the right word? You know what I mean? Like,
it is. Yeah. So first of all, we laid out different nutrients, stuff like spirulina, rose hips,
okay.
devil's claw, licorice root. And depending on, somebody will say, oh, my dog just eats everything in sight. They don't. They are so selective.
Yeah.
If they don't choose it, it's because they don't need it.
Right.
And then from there, I tend to start with, the oils are all classified into different, I do it by colours. So you've got like your psychotherapeutic and you've got your physical oils. So I tend to start with the physical first and start with the gentler ones, especially if the animal has not been exposed to essential oils before, and just watch what they do. So they will indicate whether they're enjoying the oil, and if they move away, you don't follow them, because that means they're not interested.
Right. Okay. God, that's fascinating, isn't it? So
Honestly.
I bet it's been really enjoyable thing to study, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you actually actively do sessions for the general public then now from?
I do, yes. So I haven't fully qualified. My exam's in April, but I finished all the written work. So I'm fully insured, but I'm still charging a kind of a lower price at the moment because I'm not fully qualified. So at the moment, my clients are getting quite a good deal, really.
Yeah.
And then it will go up to full price
once you get that qualification in the bag. So if anybody's interested, then the time is now.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
To start your sessions.
And it can help with all sorts of things. I worked with a dog last year, and the dog was so nervous and she jumped at every single noise. And we did the first session, and sometimes the sessions don't go as planned. And I came home and I thought, oh God, that was awful. It's not going to work. But I always do 2 days, 2 consecutive sessions. So I went back, we moved where we worked with the dog, and straight away she picked 3 oils.
Really?
Yeah, and we've got a video of this dog on bonfire night working with her oil, completely chilled. Whereas normally she'd have been at the window, she'd have been barking, she'd have been so stressed, and she literally was sparker.
And just for clarification, every nutrient and oil that you use is natural?
It is. I actually buy them from Caroline, who's my tutor, because most of it's organic. It has to be extremely high quality, because some of the dogs will actually ingest
Yeah.
So you don't want anything that is very inferior. You need it to be the purest it can be. And she knows all of her. So where she sources everything, she knows everybody.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what you want to be looking for, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Especially something that's like, obviously, it's medicinal to the dog,
Yeah,
so it
it is.
has to
Yeah.
be of the highest quality.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, have you ever worked with any dogs that have got epilepsy?
No,
Well,
I haven't.
are you willing to?
I would, yes.
I'm just thinking because my Boris, obviously, has got epilepsy, and he has been on a herbal blend. He's on like a liver tonic as well because he has conventional medicine for his seizures, which we're working on bringing him off. But he also has a herbal blend which is for calming, to calm the nervous system. It has like different herb, about maybe 5 or 6 different herbs in it. But I am curious to see which of the psychotherapeutic, I'm guessing, would be the epilepsy. Yeah, would that be in that category?
Essentially, you would let him choose because there might be something else that he
So
may
would you just
choose.
like lay out loads of oils and see if he went to any of them?
No. So if you have the lids off all the oils, you're flooding the room with too many smells.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's literally one lid, hold the oil. If he's interested, he'll come over and sniff it. If he's not interested, the lid goes straight back on. The oils are
Okay.
so potent that you just don't want the room flooding.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, and as well, obviously, because the dog's olfactory senses are so sensitive compared to
Absolutely.
humans. And organic
Yes.
essential oils, if you've ever smelt an organic essential oil, as a human, they are so strong. Like
They
a
are.
lavender organic essential oil, when you smell it, you wouldn't know it was lavender really because it is
Yeah.
that strong. That's right, isn't it? Because they are that potent. But so I'm really interested. I think I might have to book him in just to see because I don't just want to. Yeah, I don't just want to give him like the pre-made herbal blends because if he doesn't want to interact with that, because sometimes he can be a bit funny with his food. And obviously, I put it on the food because that's what the instructions say. Because if I did just leave it at the side, he probably wouldn't eat it.
Mm.
And with him being epileptic, he kind of does need it, if that makes sense. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of like stuck on this thing where if he's not eating it, it's because he doesn't need it. But yeah, he does need something to calm his nervous system down because he's epileptic, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's sort of like that kind of thing. So I'm just thinking, I'm really interested in learning more about this and seeing if we can work with him. But I'm also wondering, Barney suffers from chronic stress. So is that something that you can use this for as well? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we
You're
need to
gonna
get the
have you
diary out.
hooked. You'll be hooked in no time. I can see another course coming your way.
Oh yeah. Well, I would if I had the time, maybe. Geez, at the moment I've got no time at all.
No.
So that's really fascinating. I'm looking forward to that. So I'll have to talk to you about that afterwards. But so what if you have any tips for pet parents, basically at how they could sort of like learn more about this or different ways that it can help them, maybe ways that people might not have thought of, then what would you say to them right now listening to this podcast?
Is this regarding the zoo farm or in general?
Any, both?
Okay. So, okay. So, new pet parents, uh,
Yeah.
I would always recommend to get a book by Lise Hansen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That is one of the best pet parent books out there. It's written so easy to understand. It goes into vaccinations, worming treatments, flea treatments, and it explains all about, so we don't over chemicalize our dogs. And the
Yeah.
way she explains it is so easy for people, because that's
Yeah.
my big thing is, everybody's vaccinating, everybody's putting flea treatment on, and all of this impacts the liver and the gut.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like to look at the whole dog, and that's the food, what chemicals are used in the home. It's the whole kit and caboodle, because somebody will come in with an itchy dog, and you can't just cure an itchy dog. just like that, because it might not just be diet. You have to look at everything else that's going on within the environment. So yeah, Zoopharm can help as well, because again, you've got a stressed dog, you've got a gut that's not working well, because everything is related to the gut.
Yeah, definitely. Like with Barney has so many flare-ups with his skin and his gut, and he has different periods of time where he's intolerant to different things, and it is from stress. So I know that when he's particularly stressed, that's when everything starts going downhill. So it's not like the food necessarily that's causing it. It's maybe something that's happened instead. And I think people obviously think, oh, you know, I've got an itchy dog, so they must have a contact allergen present or something like that, when really itching can be a symptom which comes from inside and quite often is. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize, isn't it? That it's usually starting from within, and that's where you need to look first to be able to sort it out.
It's a bit of a vicious circle sometimes as well, because once the biome in the gut's kind of depleted for whatever reason, chemicals again, then it takes a while for it to get back up. And while the gut's like that, that's a stressed gut.
Yeah, so it is. You've got to be really careful, and you've got to be really like precious with it as well, haven't you? Because if you
obsessive is the word we're going for there.
Well, yeah, obsessive. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's tough. It can be tough. So I'm just thinking, if people do want to contact you, if they want to get in touch, if they want to book a session, even if it's at the dog park, because let's not forget about your wonderful dog park, or if they want to order some food, there are so many ways that people can benefit from you and your services. It's absolutely fabulous.
Thank you.
And I'm now, it's great, and I'm glad to be local as well.
And on the free delivery route.
Yes, I'm on the free delivery route. That's an added bonus. So if people do want to contact you for whether it's Zoopharma, whether it's raw food, whether it's nutritional advice, or whether it's for some, daily exercise with the pooch, where can they find you?
Right. So the dog park, all bookings are done online. I have no access. Well, I do have access, but I don't, because it's there. It's all online. All the slots are there. You can book an hour. You can book 30 minutes. That's easy. That's just on poochiepark.co.uk. You can then order your food online, because if you order your food online, you get points, and points means prizes.
Yep, so they do.
Regarding contacting me, Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram, telephone numbers everywhere. Just pick up the phone and call. Email.
Right.
I prefer not email. I think my emails always go to junk.
Yeah.
So I prefer messaging. That's the easiest way for me to do it.
Emails are sort of like, I think when you've got a small business as well, and especially like yourself, you actually work within the nitty-gritty of the business, like the picking and the packing and everything like that, don't you? So like emails, it's not like you just sat there looking at the emails all day like somebody would be in the office. It's like you literally check them if you remember, like at lunchtime or so. So emails can be, for small business owners, maybe not the best way. I always say to people, contact me on Instagram, because if you want an urgent reply, that's your best chance. But even then, that's your best chance.
I agree. Small businesses is definitely messenger, a quick message rather than an email, which I might not see it for 4-6 hours, because you just don't have time to check them.
No, especially when you're in the thick of it, because you just kind of get lost in work, don't you, and things like that. So it's one of those things. I think everyone's just so busy that, like you say, probably messaging and phone call, because if your phone rings, you're more likely to pick it up. But if you've got like just a little notification, you'll be like, oh, check it. I'll check it in a bit. Oh, trust me, I know. When we had the shop, though, I used to be like that, so busy. It's a little bit different now, but yeah, it's mad. It's mad, isn't it, having a small business, I think.
It is. And it's a lot, because you feel like you should be answering those calls that come in at 8 o'clock at night. I do switch my phone off now on a night, but even so, if I wake up in the middle of the night, I can't help myself. I check during the middle of the night, and it's just one of the things I do.
I know. And then you find yourself, you try to be proactive about leaving your phone alone for a bit, but then you end up getting worse with it. It's madness. Oh, right. Well, I think, let me just have a little think about if I've got, all right. Yeah, I've got one more question. Just one
Okay.
more question before we leave. So we've talked about all the positive things about you and your businesses and things like that. But along your whole journey, what is one thing that you have struggled with and how have you overcome it, if you have?
The fact no, it's true. It's the work-life balance. I have no
Oh, yeah.
work-life balance, and I
Yeah.
don't know if I'll ever change. I spoke to somebody the other day, and I think it's part of who I am.
Yeah.
I'm a workaholic, apparently. So, you know, I start work at 6:30 in the morning. I'll be working till 8, 9 at night. I'm not as bad now, and I'm trying to get that work-life balance. But I think that's a really, really hard thing to do
It
in a
is.
small business. And if you say, I've been self-employed for years and years, and it's just, I don't think it's something I'll never learn to do.
I don't think it's something that's possible in small businesses. You know what I mean? Like, especially not when you've got real heavy physical work to do.
Mm.
Like, if it's a bit different, if it's sort of like all online, that kind of thing, because you can sort of like pick it up and put it down. But you've got time sensitive jobs all
Mm.
day, every day, even on the weekend when you're doing the local deliveries. So, like, how are you supposed to balance that out? Because, you know, if you close, then your customers are missing out. So you kind of like you're caught in a trap, aren't you?
Yeah, it is. And it's, yeah. And I think that's the hardest thing because I'm not getting any younger, you know.
Oh, yeah, but you don't look a day over 21.
Oh, bless you.
Oh, I know, but still, you do love it though. You've got to love it,
I
otherwise you
do
wouldn't
love
do
it.
it.
You know, somebody said, do you really enjoy going in a freezer at 6 o'clock in the morning when it's freezing outside? And the answer is, yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it. I love picking the orders. I mean, it's the challenge of knowing what's in every single freezer in there. You ask me where something is, and I will tell you exactly where it is in a freezer. And it's like, how do you know that? And it's just, but ask me what I had for tea last night. Not a clue.
I know it's madness, isn't it? But I think as well, you know, when you've got a business that brings so much like so many benefits to your
Yeah.
customers, like, you know, what you sell to your customers is the highest, you know, it's a minimal processed foods, it's the most species appropriate diet for dogs, it's going to be helping dogs that have been fed on raw for all their lives continue to thrive on an optimal diet. It's going to be helping the newbies start their journey into optimal health. So just the fact that you are the one providing that source of nutrients for them is just kind of like, you know, yeah, look at me, I'm doing this, I'm helping these pups. You see
I
it,
think
you should be.
it is.
Should
And
be
I think
proud of it.
it's the nicest thing when somebody brings a dog in that doesn't look its best.
Yeah.
Because it's either diet based or whatever. And when they come back a month or so later and that dog looks so visibly different, and you know, I always remember working with a Weimaraner and getting solid poop. You wouldn't believe how many poop pictures I get.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. And they're so proud when they get the perfect poop. So they
Yeah.
share it.
Yeah, I know. It's true. It's true. We've all been there. We've all, you know, especially, you know, when you've had troublesome dogs. I've still got troublesome dogs right now. Sometimes they have, you know, issues. And you do like little dances in the kitchen or when you have those celebratory moments, because especially if you've been working so long to try and figure out, you know, the right balance or whatever, then it is. And the fact that your customers feel that they can share that with you just, you know, speaks volumes about the service that you offer. Because I mean, if you asked people who buy raw food from like generic manufacturers and, you know, maybe other different suppliers where they might not have such in-depth communications, then I guarantee they won't be sending them poop pictures. You know what I mean?
Probably not. No,
Probably
probably
not. So that's fascinating. Well done. You turned you turned a negative into a positive.
I do try.
Well, Helena, thanks ever so much for joining us. It's been lovely to, explore your businesses and your skills. Obviously, I already know you. You're one of my good friends in the raw and natural feeding world. So I'm happy to get you out there on the podcast, help people learn about what it is that you do, and hopefully get some more pups coming your way, whether it's for fresh food, a run around the field, or some natural medical. Well, what would you call it? It's like,
It's classed as, is it individualized? The Ingraham method of individualized medicine. That's what she calls it. So we can't diagnose because
yep,
I'm not a vet. So there's no diagnosis takes place.
yeah.
It's more the dog chooses. And all it does is guide us down a route. So there's no diagnosis will ever be made because
So we support the dog to self-medicate,
yes,
essentially. Yeah.
that's
Ooh,
correct.
I'm really excited.
Oh,
You're going to be regretting. You'll be like,
I'm
no
not.
more.
I never regret, never.
Oh, yay. Okay, so, well, everybody who's listening, don't forget, if you want to find Helena, I will pop a website and social media links in the show notes. So there'll be direct links to go straight there. If you are in the local area, definitely do check out Poochie Park and Poochie Pantry because you will not be disappointed. Also, if anyone does fancy shopping there, I have a referral link. I would be massively grateful if you could shop using that link because then I will get points. And then you can start earning your own points when you shop there too. Do you have anything you'd like to add, Helena?
No, I think you've covered everything.
Well,
Fabulous as usual.
Yay! Well, thank you ever so much for being a guest on the podcast. I do hope that you get some new faces and new customers from this as a result of this. And everybody, we will try to keep you updated as we've got a couple of events to attend this year, haven't we? In the raw and natural feeding world. So we will keep you updated across our socials as we attend those and bring back some more crucial information. Okay, right.
Thank you very much for having me.
Nope, you're so welcome. Bye for now.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks for listening to another great episode of the My Dog Made Me Do It Naturally podcast. Don't forget to check out the caption for any links discussed here today. And please, if you enjoyed the show, follow along and listen for free on your favourite podcast app. If you have any questions or would like to share your story, feel free to email me at mydogmademedoitnaturally@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Purpose of this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be substituted as advice from a veterinarian or other professional. It does not form a client relationship with me, the host, or any guest speakers, and any information is not intended to and does not diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. And my guests express our own views, thoughts, and opinions as individuals, and the podcast neither endorses or opposes the views, products, or services discussed here. If your pet is ill, always seek advice from your veterinarian. I am not a veterinarian and I do not treat disease or offer medical advice.